Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you're all feeling well. If be a little bit cold, it's blooming freezing out there today, isn't it? Very, very cold. But yeah, here we are. It's Friday, so we are carrying on. I actually think we haven't got much left of this. Yesterday, when we finished, we finished just before the epilogue. So this might be a short but sweet one this morning to finish off the book. But what I'll do is I'll have a look over the weekend and find another one to start next week. So for those of you that haven't already joined me in any of my lockdown storytelling, we're reading Calm the F Down. It does have a few swear words in. But it's a really, really lovely book. It's written by Sarah Knight. And on the front, it says how to control what you can and accept what you can't, so you can stop freaking out and get on with your life. So basically, how to deal with the anxieties and the things that life throws you, coping mechanisms, but also there's a bit of humour thrown in along the way as well. So on that note, I'll get started. Get yourselves comfy and let's get this book finished. Epilogue. I'm so pleased to see you made it all the way to the end of Calm the F Down. Cheers. And I really hope you had fun choosing your own adventures, because that section was a bitch to put together. I also hope you feel like you're walking away with a host of practical, actionable methods with which to turn yourself into a calmer and more productive version of yourself when shit happens. Because it will. Oh, it will. Shit will happen both predictably and unpredictably, each time with the potential to throw your day, month, or life off course. Such as, for example, when the first draft of your book is due in 1 week and you break your hands on a cat. Yes, a cat. In fact, this epilogue was going in a totally different direction until such a time as I found myself squatting over Mr. Stussy, one of my 2 feral rescue kittens, affectionately dubbed Trash Cats of Avidentialia, don't know what that is, over on Instagram, ready to surprise him with a paper towel soaked in organic coconut oil. He's very scabby. I'm just trying to help. Unfortunately, just as I descended with hands outstretched, Mr. Stussy spooked. And instead of running away from me like he usually does when I try to medicate him, he launched himself up and backward into my outstretched fingers. Crunch. I've been asked many times since that fateful day to explain in both English and Spanish the physics of how a cat manages to break a human hand. I'm not sure if I fully understand it myself, though I'm told Mercury was in retrograde, which may have been a factor. The closest I can get to describing what happened is that it was like someone had hurled a large furry brick as hard as they could at close range and exactly the wrong angle, and scored a direct hit on my 5th metacarpal. And remember, before I met him, Mr. Stussy had long been surviving on garbage and mud puddles. Dude is a bony mother beep. I was momentarily stunned by the pain, and then by the deep, visceral knowledge that finishing this book was about to get a whole lot more difficult. The leftmost digits on my thankfully non-dominant hand were, and I believe this is the technical term, effed. I'm not going to say that word, a bit rude for a Friday morning. Would you like to know how I reacted? First, I told my husband, I need to go be upset about this for a little bit. Then I went upstairs and cried out of both pain and dismay. My e-muppies were on struggle mode. Then I started to feel a little anxious on top of it, so I took a shower. Focusing on shampooing and soaping myself without doing further damage to my throbbing hand provided a goodly distraction, and by the time I was finished, I was no longer sad or anxious. I was angry. Yes, for those of you keeping track at home, this is how my I don't really get angry streak was broken by a bloody cat. to whom I have been nothing but kind and solicitous. I don't know what that word is. And who repaid me with assault and cattery. For the rest of the night, I walked around the house muttering, I am very angry with Mr. Stussy, like Richard Gere when he was very angry with his father in Pretty Woman. I imagined wreaking vengeance upon him. Picture the ALS ice bucket challenge with coconut oil. And that gave me some time and space to remember that Tim Stusser, as I sometimes call him, is just a trash cat who doesn't want coconut oil rubbed into his scabs. It wasn't his fault. In taking stock of my situation, I realised that in addition to finishing writing this book, I had my husband's boat-based birthday party to sort out, a takeover of the Urban Outfitters Instagram stories to film, a haircut to schedule before I took over the Urban Outfitters Instagram stories, and then I was supposed to pack for a 3-week, 3-state trip to the US. If you've started the clock at that sickening crunch, I needed to do all of it in 13 days. At this point, I didn't know that my hand was broken. I thought it was a bad sprain and not worth spending untold hours in what passes for an emergency room in this town when I had so little time to finish my work. In the immediate aftermath of the cat attack, my ideal and, I believed, still realistic outcome was to finish the book on schedule so I would have 6 days left to deal with the rest of my shit. So I took a bunch of Advil and got back to work. For the next week, I pounded awkwardly away at the last 5% of the manuscript with my right hand and 3/5 of the left, while the affected fingers cuddled in a homemade splint fashioned out of an ace bandage and 2 emery boards. The look was sort of Captain Hook meets Keyboard Kate. Was there an anxious voice in the back of my head saying, what if you tore something? What if you regret not getting that looked at right away? Of course there was. It was just lost out to the other total shitstorm on the docket. By the way, I'd hate to be seen as promoting cavalier attitudes towards your health, so please rest assured, I am nothing if not a giant pussy. If the pain had been unbearable, I would have asked my editor for an extension and gone to get an X-ray. At the time, on a scale of relatively painless to unbearable, I gave it a tedious. I was able to ice, elevate, and type with righty, and my husband started picking up my slack on chores. I missed out on a couple of fun dinners with friends because the last 5% of the writing process was taking 5 times as long as it was supposed to. And when unwrapped, my pinky finger had a disconcerting tendency to jerk in and out of formation, like James Brown live at the Apollo. But overall, things seemed okay. When I finished the book, I decided a leisurely afternoon at the clinic was in order. That's when I found out it was a break, not a sprain. Score 1 for Mr. Stussy. The next several weeks were challenging. You may recall that multi-state trip I had to pack for. But along the way, I calmed the F down and dealt with it. It's almost as if writing this book for the past 6 months had been preparing me for this very situation. Like some kind of Rhonda Byrne, The Secret manifestation crap. Except I manifested a shitstorm instead of untold riches. I suppose that's what I get for being an anti-guru. On the bright side, when the storm hit without warning, I emoted, then created the puppies and gave anxiety the finger. I plotted revenge against him who had wronged me, and in doing so, released my aggression in a way that didn't make anything worse. I took stock, I identified my realistic ideal outcome, and I've been triaging ever since. I don't want to alarm you, but I think I might be onto something here. Remember in the introduction when I said I always had a problem dealing with it when unexpected shit cropped up? In fact, readers of Get Your Shit Together know that the writing of that book ended on a similarly chaotic note. We'd been living nomadically for months, and the Airbnb we moved into just when I was ready to make the final push on the manuscript turned out to be more of a bug B&B. I fully freaked out, and I did not calm down even a little bit. I also drew heavily on the fourth fund, both at the bank of my husband and the friends we subsequently moved in with. Eventually, I got over and through and past it. I know how to get my shit together after all, but not without wasting an enormous amount of time, energy, money, and goodwill in the process. Whereas if we fast forward a couple of years, in the wake of a much more damaging and painful shitstorm, I seem to have become rather capable of dealing under duress. Fancy that. I'm still no Rhonda Byrne, but I do have a little secret for you. I don't spend all this time writing no F's given guides just for shits and giggles, or to make money, or to improve your life, although these are all sound justifications. I do it because each book, each writing process, and each hour I spend chatting away about my wacky ideas on someone else's podcast provides me with an opportunity for personal growth. I'm given fewer, better F's than ever, and I'm much happier as a result. In teaching others to get their shit together, I discovered new ways of keeping mine in line. And holy hell, was You Do You exactly the book I needed to write to heal myself a bunch of unhealthy trauma and resentment I didn't even know I'd been carrying around for 30 years. But I have to say that for me, Calm the F Down is going in the annals as the most self-fulfilling titular prophecy of them all. Sorry, not annals, annals. My brain not working today. I'm so sorry. Oh, that could have been a whole different book there. I know how hard it was for me to handle unexpected mayhem just a few years ago. So I also know how remarkable it is to have been able to get this far in training myself to chill the F out. Yes, a move to the tropics and a massive cultural paradigm shift helped jumpstart my education. But I took to it like a feral cat to a pile of trash. And then I wrote a book about it, so you can get your own jumpstart at a much more reasonable and sweet-smelling price point. So my final hope is this, that if you internalize all of my tips and techniques for changing your mindset, you'll realize that most of the shit that happens to you, even failing to BCC more than 100 people on a work email, doesn't have to be as freak out inducing as it might have seemed before you read this book, and that you can deal with it. I mean, that's my realistic ideal outcome for you, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Calm the F down and deal with it. That's it. That's the last one. We finished the book, guys. Oh, I love that book. It's just the acknowledgements at the end there. Oh, so there we go. Done. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Let me know, because if you fancy something of a similar, like a similar theme, I can find something over the weekend to start off with next week. If you fancy something a bit more fictional or just, a bit more easygoing, then I can get something like that as well. So drop me an email, send me a message, let me know, and then we'll decide what we're going to start next week. But yeah, thank you for joining me this morning. Sorry, it's only just a short and sweet one, but yeah, we finished the book. If anyone fancies borrowing the book, you'd like to start, you missed a few of the chapters and you'd like to catch up on it, drop me a message. We can get you a copy over. It's such a lovely book. I will sit and read this again, not reading it out to you guys. It'll be a bit of bedtime reading for me because, I'm just a anxiety-ridden person at the minute and have been for a long time. So I need to reread this because I need some of these techniques to help me deal with a lot of the stuff goes on in life, and I need some better coping mechanisms, and this book's brilliant. So anyway, so that's it reading this morning. I'm going to be back online at about 11. We've got tea and toast with Luke. We're going to have a chat. And come and join us if you can. If you can't, have a great weekend. It's Friday. We can't do much, but least it's Friday and no work, or, you know, hopefully no work at the weekends, and you can have a bit of a chill time. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to go and get myself a cuppa before 11 o'clock. I'll see you all in a bit. If not, have an amazing weekend. Take care, guys.